Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Unknown. I'm Alex Carter, and as always, we're ready to dive into some more mysteries of the universe.
I'm Olivia Reyes, and I'm here to help us unpack everything.
All right, so today we are diving into a topic that everybody's talking about. It's everywhere in the news cycle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Those upcoming congressional hearings on UFOs, or as I guess they're calling them now, officially UAPs, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena.
Right, UAPs. It's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
November 2024, it'll be the first time in a long time that Congress is going to take a good hard look at this issue.
Yeah, it's not just some, senators, with some grainy pictures in a dark room. We came across a report, and it looks like this is really a direct response from a ton of pressure from the public, the media, even from the military and intelligence communities.
People want answers.
They want answers. They want to know what's going on in our skies, and it seems like those old, grainy images of flying saucers have kind of given way to something a lot more complex, a lot more
difficult to explain away.
Yeah, and something that's really forcing people to pay attention, even the authorities.
Even the authorities, yeah.
So I think to really kind of get a good grasp on, how we got here to this point,
Yeah.
I think it's good to kind of revisit some of the key moments in UFO history that we've explored in past episodes.
A refresher?
Yeah, remember episode 1, way back when
Oh, way back when.
we talked about that strange light over the Muddy River in 1639, one of the earliest sightings in America.
It's interesting to think about how, these really old accounts, they were often just dismissed as folklore or, misinterpretations or whatever.
Right.
But now they kind of seem to echo with a newfound relevance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and of course then there's, episode 3 when we, dug into Kenneth Arnold's famous sighting of flying saucers in 47 that really, I think, kicked off this modern fascination with UFOs.
Yeah, 47 was a big year, wasn't it? Because then you have episode 5 and the whole Roswell incident.
Oh, yeah.
Ross routed in so much mystery.
Yeah, and so many conspiracy theories really kind of cemented this idea in people's minds that the government is, there's a cover-up going on.
Right. They're not telling us everything.
So it's amazing how all of that, those events that were once just relegated to, the fringes of popular culture.
Oh, weird stuff.
Yeah, are now being viewed in a whole new light.
For a new lens.
And I think what this report highlights is this really significant shift in perspective.
Yeah, definitely.
Back then, the government was very dismissive.
Yeah.
Right? They always had an answer for it, right? Weather balloons, swamp gas.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah, exactly. Now
they're not so sure.
It seems like they're kind of acknowledging that there might be something more to all of this.
There might be something we don't understand.
And I think that shift is kind of reflected in the language itself, too.
Oh, how so?
Well, we're not just talking about UFOs anymore.
Right, UAP.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
Just a little change, but it's kind of a big deal because it's not just, flying saucers anymore. It's kind of saying, okay, we're acknowledging that we don't know what this is.
Let's look at the data. Let's analyze the evidence and see where it takes us.
Exactly. And, we may have to admit that what we know about the universe isn't complete.
Right. Well, and speaking of things we don't understand.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about those recent military encounters.
Oh, those are fascinating.
Those are really interesting because you have these really credible witnesses, the censored data, sometimes even video.
Right. It's not just some guy, out in the desert saying, I saw something.
No, not at all.
We're talking about, the USS Nimitz back in 2004 and the USS Theodore Roosevelt 2015.
Right. Highly trained pilots, they saw these things and they described flight capabilities that are just, we don't understand it.
We can't explain it.
We can't explain it.
Instantaneous changes in direction, accelerating at unbelievable speeds, even disappearing off of radar.
Yeah.
I mean, these weren't your typical, blurry lights in the sky.
No, these were multiple witnesses, radar data, and video footage.
I mean, it's adding this whole new level of urgency to this whole UAP debate. And it's not just, speculation or fringe theories anymore. This is something that the military, the intelligence community, even Congress now is having to pay attention to.
Yeah, they can't just sweep it under the rug anymore.
And then you have the whistleblowers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Former intelligence officials like David Grush.
He came out with some pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, claiming that the government has been secretly, retrieving and studying materials from crashed UAPs for decades.
It's like something out of a movie.
I know, it's amazing, but
he was in a position to know.
Yeah, he had access, he had the security clearance, he was, in a position to know.
So what are they hiding?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really led to this demand for transparency, and that's where these upcoming hearings come in.
It's like the pressure has just reached a boiling point.
Yeah, from the public, the media, even from within the government itself, it seems like everybody wants answers.
And they want them now.
So these hearings were a direct response to all of that.
Yeah. Congress can't ignore it anymore.
It's a historic moment, and it has the potential to really change the way we view this whole phenomenon forever.
I think so, too.
And what's really interesting is that this is a bipartisan effort. This isn't
a left or right thing.
No. Democrats and Republicans are both calling for transparency. They both want answers.
They're both looking at this and saying, wait a minute.
Yeah, this is something that really transcends the typical political divides.
Absolutely.
So it really shows how seriously they're taking this. It's no longer just a topic for, conspiracy theorists on the internet. This is something that is being discussed, in the halls of power,
Yeah, this is the big leagues.
This is it. This is the big time. And I think it shows that they're recognizing that UAPs represent a potential national security concern.
Right, yeah.
I mean, imagine it.
It's not just about little green men anymore.
Right, exactly. Imagine, if a foreign government or even a non-state actor possessed technology that could, outperform our aircraft.
Yeah, or evade our radar.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, our whole defense strategy would have to change.
And that's why they've taken steps to kind of, address this. They created that All-domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, back in 2022.
I remember that, yeah.
That was a big deal. Yeah. And it really shows a willingness from the government to finally say, okay, we need to acknowledge this. We need to investigate this.
Put some resources behind it.
Exactly. AARO's mission is to collect and analyze all this data on UAPs, assess the threat, and coordinate with other government agencies.
It seems like they're serious.
It seems like they're getting serious about it.
But are they being transparent enough?
Well, that's the question, right? Are they sharing what they know?
And that's where these hearings come in, right?
That's what we're going to find out.
Yeah, are they finally going to break their silence?
And share what they know with the American people.
Could be a watershed moment.
Yeah, it really could be.
Decades in the making.
And it could have implications for not just, our understanding of the universe, but, the very nature of reality itself.
What is real?
I know, it's mind-blowing to think about. And we're going to get into all of that in just a minute, so stay tuned.
It's funny, when you think about it, Congress has kind of looked into UFOs before.
Oh, yeah. I vaguely remember something about, some hearings back in like the 60s or something like that, but, kind of a blur.
Yeah, it was way back in 1966, Congressman Gerald Ford, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he later became president, but he actually requested a formal investigation into UFO sightings.
Really?
Yeah, there were a bunch of reports coming out of Michigan at the time, and so...
So you just like, what's going on.
Pretty much he wanted answers. A lot of people did.
So, I mean, Congress was feeling the heat even back then. Mm-hmm. So did anything come out of those hearings? Any big revelations?
Not really. I mean, they mostly just looked at Project Blue Book.
Oh, right. Project Blue Book.
Yeah, which was the Air Force's official UFO investigation program at the time.
So kind of like the granddaddy of, government UFO investigations?
Exactly. And the Air Force basically just said, it's all misidentifications, weather phenomena, hoaxes, the usual stuff.
So a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. And for the cases they couldn't explain, they didn't really offer any good answers.
So basically they just kind of, left everybody hanging.
Yeah, and that really frustrated people. They wanted the truth. They wanted some acknowledgement that something was going on.
Right.
And that lack of transparency really just fueled the conspiracy theories.
Well, yeah, of course it did.
And it made people distrust the government even more.
Well, it's interesting how it seems like history is kind of repeating itself.
How so?
Well, back then you had Project Blue Book. Now we have AARO.
Right.
Back then you had all these, government officials saying, oh, it's nothing to worry about. And now you have whistleblowers saying there's a massive cover-up.
I see what you mean. There are definitely some parallels. It's like this whole thing has been simmering beneath the surface for decades, just waiting to boil over.
But it feels like this time it's different.
Yeah, I think so too.
Why do you think that is what makes this moment feel more significant?
I think a lot of it has to do with the internet and social media.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 60s, if you saw something weird in the sky, you might tell your friends or write a letter to the newspaper.
Right.
But now you can post it online and reach millions of people instantly.
Right. And everybody's got a camera in their pocket, too, with their smartphone, so...
Exactly. We're bombarded with images and videos from all over the world.
It's harder to just dismiss it all as, fake news or whatever.
It really is. And it's much harder for the government to control the narrative,
Just keep things under wraps.
Exactly. Information spreads so fast these days, and I think that's a good thing.
Well, it creates this level of transparency that we didn't have before. and it empowers individuals, you know,
To speak up.
yeah, to share their experiences, connect with others, and demand answers.
And I think you can see that in the report, too.
Oh, yeah?
These upcoming hearings are a direct response to that public pressure. Politicians, they're feeling the heat and they have to do something.
It's like a power shift.
Yeah, I
Uh,
like that.
Like a democratization of information.
I like that, too. Write that down.
Okay, yeah, so it's the people demanding answers, and the institutions that have always kept that information secret are being forced to open up.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It really is. Okay, so we've talked about the historical context,
Mhm.
the national security implications, the role of the media and public opinion.
Right.
But let's get down to brass tacks here. What are these UAPs?
The million-dollar question?
I know, are they alien spaceships? Are they, advanced drones from China or Russia?
I wish I knew.
What do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. The report doesn't really it focuses more on why Congress is holding these hearings now,
Okay.
but it does talk about some of the main theories and debates.
Well, let's hear it. Lay it on me. What are the leading contenders in the UAP explanation race?
Okay, well, first you got the extraterrestrial hypothesis.
Of course.
Yeah, the idea that some of these UAPs are spacecraft from other planets.
The classic alien scenario.
Exactly, and it's the one that really captures people's imaginations.
Right, but is there any real evidence to back it up?
That's the thing. There's been a lot of reports, strange lights, objects in the sky,
Right.
but no proof that any of them are alien spacecraft.
For now, it's just speculation.
Pretty much.
What about other possibilities, then? What else is out there?
Well, another theory is that some of them could be advanced drones or aircraft developed by foreign governments like China or Russia.
It's a little unsettling.
Yeah, especially with all the geopolitical tensions going on these days.
And technology is advancing so quickly.
I know. It's crazy to think about.
Imagine if they've developed something that we can't even comprehend.
That would be a major national security concern.
Yeah, it'd be like a whole new arms race. And then there's always the possibility that there's something else entirely.
Something we don't even understand.
Like, whoa.
Some people think they could be interdimensional beings or entities from other realms of existence.
Okay, now we're getting into like fringe territory.
You know, right?
Like the multiverse.
Exactly.
But I mean, who knows?
Right.
I mean, our understanding of the universe is constantly evolving.
That's true.
There could be things out there that we can't even imagine.
Exactly. And these UAPs, whatever they are, could be a glimpse into that.
That's a pretty mind-blowing thought.
It is.
I mean, it's kind of humbling, you know?
Yeah. It really makes you realize that we're not the center of everything.
And that there could be forces and entities out there that are way beyond our understanding.
Yeah.
It's both exciting and terrifying at the same time.
I know, right? Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground, the history of UAPs, the national security concerns.
Some pretty wild theories.
Some pretty wild theories. Yeah. But the journey isn't over yet.
Oh, no.
In part 3, we're going to look at what these upcoming hearings could mean for the future.
Oh, man.
The future of UAP research disclosure, and maybe even our understanding of the universe.
This is going to be good. I am buckled up and ready to go.
Me too.
See you there.
All right, so we're back. Beyond the unknown, we've gone through, decades of UFO history. We've talked about the national security concerns. We've even got into some really, out there theories about what these things are.
I know, it's a lot to process.
It is. But now we got these congressional hearings coming up, and it's time to kind of turn our attention to the future.
Right. What's going to happen? What's next?
What does it all mean? What could these hearings mean for, how we approach this whole, UAP thing?
Yeah, it feels like something big's about to happen.
It does. I mean, in one of the reports we looked at, it said these hearings could be a real game changer.
A turning point. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, the public finally, it's like they've reached this critical mass of curiosity and concern.
Yeah, they're demanding answers.
They want to know. And it seems like those demands are finally being heard.
Yeah, for years the government's just been, hush-hush about all of this.
Secrecy denial.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah, and that just makes people more suspicious.
It just pushes the whole thing further into the shadows.
Exactly.
But now with these hearings, it's like we have this opportunity to bring it all out into the open.
They have an open conversation.
Address the public's concerns.
Yeah, and maybe finally start to, bridge that gap between what the government knows and what the people know.
I think a lot of people are hoping for some big, bombshells to drop.
I know some people are expecting like a full-on X-Files type disclosure,
Oh, yeah. Aliens are real. We've been in contact with them.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that would be amazing.
No.
But realistically, What are some of the more concrete things that we might see come out of these hearings?
Well, I think we'll definitely see a lot more money going into UAP research.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm.
I mean, if the government's finally admitting that this is a real thing, they're going to have to put some resources behind it.
Exactly. And that research could involve all sorts of things. Analyzing data, new observations, maybe even developing new technologies to,
To detect these things.
yeah, to figure out what they are.
It's like we're finally opening up this whole new field of science.
I know, it's exciting.
I mean, imagine the discoveries that we could make if we really put our minds to it.
Right, we could learn so much.
About propulsion materials,
Mm-hmm.
science, energy production.
It could revolutionize our world.
It really could.
But I also think these hearings could lead to, better ways of reporting and investigating UAP sightings.
Yeah, that would be good, because right now it seems like it's all kind of a mess.
It is. There's no real system in place.
Right. People don't know where to report these things. The data's scattered all over the place.
Exactly. So we need like a central hub for all of this.
Like a UAP clearinghouse.
Yeah, something like that, where people can report sightings, upload photos and videos.
And everything's transparent and accessible to the public.
Right, exactly. It would really legitimize the whole thing.
Yeah, take it out of the realm of, the fringe and bring it into the mainstream.
Exactly.
And I think it would encourage more people to come forward, too.
Yeah, if they knew there was a place to report it and that it would be taken seriously.
Right. It'd be like a crowdsourced effort to, solve this mystery.
Exactly.
So we've got more funding, better data collection. What else? What other good stuff could come out of these hearings?
Well, I think we could see more international cooperation, too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, these things don't seem to care about borders.
Everywhere.
They're everywhere. So it makes sense that we should all be working together to figure out what they are.
Right, it's a global phenomenon. It needs a global response.
So you're thinking like a global task force or something.
Yeah, something like that,
Right.
where scientists, researchers, government officials from all over the world can come together.
Share information.
Yeah, compare data work on joint research projects.
That would be pretty amazing.
It would really show that humanity can come together.
To face the unknown.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we wrap up here, I got to ask, what if these hearings do lead to some major breakthroughs in our understanding of UAPs?
Ooh, that's a good question.
How do you think that would change our world?
I don't know. I mean, it's impossible to say for sure.
Right.
It would depend on what we discover.
Right, but let's speculate for a minute.
Oh,
Let's say
okay.
they come out and say, you know what, some of these UAPs are definitely alien spacecraft.
Okay.
How do you think people would react?
I think a lot of people would freak out.
Yeah, probably.
I also think a lot of people would be excited.
Yeah, it would be the biggest story in human history.
It would change everything
It would force us to rethink everything we thought we knew about the universe,
about our place in it.
about the nature of reality itself.
Yeah.
It would be a cultural earthquake.
It really would.
But it could also be a time of incredible growth and discovery.
Yeah. We might have to face some really tough questions.
Questions about the nature of consciousness, the meaning of life.
The origins of the universe?
It would be humbling,
Yeah.
but it could also lead to some amazing new discoveries.
New technology.
Imagine the possibilities.
I know.
But even if we don't find out that, aliens are real,
Right.
I think just having this conversation,
Yeah. Being open about it
demanding transparency and accountability,
is a step in the right direction.
yeah, shows that we're willing to face the unknown,
To question our assumptions.
to consider possibilities that might seem impossible.
That's what Beyond the Unknown is all about.
It really is, embracing the mystery, exploring the possibilities.
Never losing that sense of wonder.
And if you're as fascinated by this as we are, be sure to check out our previous episodes, especially the ones on the history of UFOs, like episodes 1, 3, 5, and 6.
Yeah, and connect with us on social media. Let us know what you think.
This is a conversation that's just beginning.
And we can't wait to see where it goes.
Keep looking up, keep questioning, and keep exploring the mysteries of the universe.
And we'll be right here with you every step of the way.